Gold holding above 1,300 on election jitters and a jobs report that came close to estimates Friday. So what now? Joining us now from Hawaii is technical analyst Gary Wagner. Gary, good to see you again. Welcome back.
Thank you so much, and it's great to be back.
So look at gold, Gary, on track for its fourth weekly gain. Where does it go from here? What levels can we look forward to next week, Gary?
Well, you know, what levels we can look forward to next week is not so much anybody's guess, but it's going to be very, very dependent on how the election is perceived going up to voting and then the actual outcome of the elections.
Right. It could be a crazy week indeed. We could really get a huge surprise. Do you have any forecasts in terms of whether we see a Clinton or a Trump victory here?
No, I do not. Ever since I really believed adamantly that there was no way that Britain would succeed the European Union and the Brexit vote would pass, I've sustained from really listening to the polls.
Right.
Anything can happen, and the key is this. Right now, we do have a technical resistance at about 1308, but we've had this market move up from about 1250. Going into the election, I would expect precious metals and specifically gold to continue to act as a safe haven, maintain a steady pace. I think it will trade above 1,300 going into the election. Of course, if the polls continue to tighten, I would expect that to be a very, very strong motivating factor for gold to move up in terms of pricing.
All right, well, let's look at the other big news headline. Jobs number missed the mark, but overall, on balance, the data wasn't entirely negative. We're seeing equities get a boost here. How much longer could this rally in stocks continue?
You know, the first, as far as the jobs report is concerned, that came in at about 161,000, which is a little bit lower than they would have liked to have seen. But nonetheless, the word on the street right now is that those are the kinds of numbers the Fed can still work with and do an interest rate hike in December. So that's really what we want to take a look at and see whether or not that actualizes.
All right. And really, equity is moving in tandem here with gold. What does that tell us, Gary?
Well, typically there are occasions where equities and precious metals, specifically gold, will run in tandem. You got that at the beginning of QE. In other words, when there was very, very cheap money, it was a bullish factor for both equities as well as the precious metals. Right now, we have a fairly, not so much robust economic environment, but a very, very stable one with slow growth, but good growth. So that is going to propel, of course, the equities markets to move up.
Right.
At the same time, you've got the uncertainty with the election, and that's going to be a motivating factor for gold traders to kind of bid that precious yellow metal.
Right. So are you just going to take a sit and wait approach and just wait for this election to pass?
Well, we got long at around 1259, 1260. So we've been in this battle really since October 13th is when we actually put our positions on. What we're going to do is look very, very closely, of course, over the weekend and Monday. And if it bids up, we'll continue to raise our stops. But we've already placed a bet a while ago that we thought gold was going to move higher.
All right, Gary, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see what happens next week.
It's going to be fireworks, to say the least.
Absolutely.
Have a great weekend.
You too. Thanks, Gary. And thank you for watching. We'll see you next week for a new Kitco Gold Report.